This guy bought a tadpole and raised it to become a fully grown frog.
Let's go ahead and watch them turn from a fish into a creature that can walk on land.
Watching a tadpole turn into a frog is one of the most interesting processes in all of nature. And in this video, I'm gonna spend the next 50 days of my life raising 20 tadpoles into an army of frogs.
Yes.
It wasn't an
Oh my
easy
God, there's
process
20.
caring for them, and not every tadpole made it. But here is the full 3-month journey of raising tiny
That's
tadpoles
the bros hanging
into
out.
fully grown frogs.
Guys, I feel like this is something that like every kid has wanted to do. I remember being a 12-year-old boy and I was like, I would love to watch a tadpole grow into a frog.
I used to collect frogs. At one point, I ate 30 of them in a box about this big. It was probably not very sanitary for them.
What did you do with the frogs?
I let them free eventually.
PETA approved.
Let them free.
Nice. Good job, Alec.
Thanks. I'm just doing
They're
what I
definitely
can.
still alive today, hopping
One
around.
step at a time. Oh no, they're absolutely dead.
It all started on day 1, where I was waiting for the tadpoles to be delivered to my house. So in the meantime, I got out a glass tank and a bunch of supplies. You see, at first, the tadpoles are gonna need to be fully aquatic. In order to raise them, I have to make an enclosure that is all water. So I laid down some soil and covered it in a bit of sand. And finally, I put all sorts of decorations around, like pebbles, wood, and plants. And after filling it up with some cycled water, the enclosure was complete.
Wow, that was
Dang,
quick.
check this out. It actually looks pretty good. And I've got some fun
That
plans
was, like,
for when I
pretty
add the
sweet.
tadpoles in here. But anyway, speaking of those, they're gonna be delivered here tomorrow. So I guess just cut to that.
Don't they need land though for when they evolve into frogs?
I believe yes, but it does take a while. I believe that it takes like longer than 10 days for them to start to actually perform metamorphosis and to grow limbs.
So he's probably gonna wait a little bit before adapting the ecosystem in there to have land.
I think so, yeah. That would make sense to me.
Jack is the expert. I believe Jack.
Are tadpoles the only animal that born in water and then transform into land creatures?
Well, you also have the walking fish. I don't know if that really counts, though.
That's not at all what I'm saying. Not even close, Adam.
What about like a caterpillar turning into a butterfly?
Wait, that's a good point, Jack.
Yeah, but butterflies still walk on land.
What about salamanders? I'm pretty sure they start out in the water and then they eventually grow into salamanders and then they go outside of the water.
I
Gotcha,
don't know.
Alec.
I asked a question.
Comment down below, Roast and Alec.
Okay,
Day
I just
2.
woke up and got an email saying there's a package here, and okay, there actually is. This is the right package, but they said there's an animal in here, so probably is. And after
I thought he was
unboxing
getting
it, I got my
tadpoles.
first look at the tadpoles, and to my surprise, they didn't look very normal. They were actually orange and very large. You see, when I bought them,
Shout
I
out, Alec.
actually got a 20-pack of mystery tadpoles, meaning that
Wait a second,
Did
what?
I just get?
Did he just get like a Super Mario Bros. Lucky box?
Pretty
It
much,
seems
dude.
like it. I wonder what it feels like to turn from a tadpole into a frog in just 50 days. That's pretty much like millions of years of evolution cramped down into a couple of days. It probably hurts so bad. You're like growing arms out of your side.
But I could also imagine it feeling really, really good at the end. Like, yeah, have you ever seen those videos of like a butterfly coming out of its cocoon? It looks like it feels so good. It just like woke up from a long nap, and then it stretches out its big wings. That has to feel pretty good.
That was an L take, Alec. It probably feels so good.
Can't say anything without this guy roasting me. I asked a question earlier and he's smoking me for it.
0 for 2 for Alec. Let's keep it going.
Meaning
Back to
that
the
once
mystery.
they grow up into frogs, it could literally be any
Mystery
species
frog.
in the world, and some have really cool abilities.
Adam, you look like the bottom right frog.
Oh man, I really hope we got one of those rare species. But for now, one by one, I put each of the tadpoles into their new enclosure, and immediately they started to explore.
They
all
are
of those
ugly.
and
Yo, they
interact
already have
with
little
each other.
legs.
But I guess this was their first time being kept in a glass enclosure
gosh.
because this guy didn't really know how it worked.
Where are their eyeballs? It looks like they're like demonic. They just
They're
don't.
right there.
They're
It looks like an
literally
empty
right
socket.
there.
Clear.
You can see the eyeball.
You can't even see
How do
it.
you ever make fun of me ever? Like, it's really insane. That's crazy. I wonder at what point in their development that they change their diet. Because when they're tadpoles, they don't have that like the Yoshi tongue where they can eat like flies and insects and stuff. So I wonder at what point they're like, actually, I don't want to be eating pizza anymore. I want to be eating sushi. naturally. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Probably instinctual.
I know it is. I'm asking when that happens.
Well, I'm pretty sure at first they like feed on algae. Like it's kind of like the game Spore, if you remember playing that. Like you have to feed on like little algae bits and you're like a herbivore. But then when it gets outside of the water, that's when I think it becomes like an omnivore and it can eat bugs and small animals.
Good call, Jack. That was a smart
I'm
take.
convinced that Jack Googles every single thing in all these videos just to act very smart. I see him typing away and then he acts like he knows it all.
I know everything about every animal of all time. In a different life, I am a zoologist.
He just kept swimming into the glass, and yeah, I think he got
That's
brain
Adam.
damage.
That is so Adam.
Well, that's all there was to do on day 2, so I
That
came
is
back
so
on
Adam.
day 3. But something
Check in on day
unexpected
50. I'll be
happened on
fully
this
grown.
day.
Shoot, bro, I'm starting to get worried. Look at the tadpoles.
Oh, no,
Almost
they're
none
dying.
of them are even
What?
moving. They're all just like sitting
No!
at the
Oh
my
bottom. This could actually be
God.
a pretty big
I feel really
problem.
He put the
bad.
wrong
Figure out
water
why
in
this
there.
is happening.
So quickly, I did research, hoping to find the fix.
Why are my
And thankfully, I
tadpoles not
came
moving?
across this guy that said something about how the problem might get fixed from adding in an air pump. So I immediately got one of
Oh
those
my
out
gosh.
and hooked it up in the
They
water.
don't have oxygen.
They literally are in there and they can't breathe. They're at the bottom of the cage, just like...
Please.
They don't have any arms, Alex, so they wouldn't be doing that with their arms.
I can't evolve.
It does, it does make sense that they need more oxygen since eventually they only breathe oxygen.
They would be like Jack right
Turned it
now.
on. As you can see, it makes a bunch of bubbles, which apparently spreads oxygen around the water. But even after adding this in, the problem was still here. The
Because half of
tadpoles
them
were
are
still
dead
barely
already.
Oh my
moving.
gosh, they're dying
Okay, I've
now!
gotta make sure
Give
these
him
guys are all
CPR.
right. So as you can see, I got out this little bottle of tadpole food. It has some like protein and stuff, so I'm really hoping this is
Yeah.
gonna get them to be
Protein.
Is this the first time he's feeding them? Has he not been giving them food the whole time? How is he confused of how they're not moving? He didn't give them food or oxygen.
It's been 3 days. Calm down, all right?
I know.
So he
it's been
got
3
them.
days.
He got them on day 2, and I guess the first day was like they had to get acclimated, and then now he's feeding them.
They did a fast. He whipped them into shape, so he made him do a full day, 24-hour water
They
fast.
have no food and no oxygen.
No oxygen fast.
This is like a Mr. Beast challenge.
effective. This is my last idea. This better work.
So I dropped in a couple of the pellets, and literally like magic, the tadpoles immediately.
Oh, I wonder
started
why
to
they're
move.
eating them.
That is
They're
so
starving
Adam.
in there!
Or something.
Feed
I
them!
just put a ton of them in the middle, and they basically all just turned into food-eating machines. I mean,
Wow.
look at all of them. The problem
Me
of
at a
them not
buffet.
moving had been fixed. And even better news, I
Now
noticed
they're
that they
moving.
had these tiny little legs starting to grow.
Aw.
This is a great sign, and it means as they grow bigger, arms will start to develop under the
Oh,
skin,
wow.
and soon we'll have a full frog that can eat insects. Anyways, that's all there was to day 3, and unfortunately on day 4, I came back to yet another
A
problem.
lot of
Bro,
poop.
What is
the
happening?
heck happened? Why does
You think it's dirty because like they've just been pooping out all the...
If you eat that much, you gotta poop that much too. Yeah.
I think maybe his mom came in and I don't know, maybe mess with the cage or something.
Why are you bringing his mom
what-
into
whoa,
this?
what-
I'm
What's
just
that about?
saying, we don't know what happened. Somebody maybe peed in the water.
Well, actually, it's not a bad play because tadpoles and frogs, they live in like swampy, murky water. So maybe a little bit of pee here and there, they might like it. I don't know what they're into. They might be into it.
Another L take from Alec.
Alec might be a tadpole.
Alec's on
I'm
stream.
just saying. I'm just saying.
does the water look like sewage water?
This obviously wasn't a good sign, so to fix the issue, I got out this filter to,
Oh, wait.
filter the bad stuff out of the water. Thankfully, after
But guys, I'm so confused. Why would he not start with a filter? I feel like that's the first thing that you do when you make any sort of enclosure. You add a filter and an air pump, right? That's just what you do.
He was trying to make it like the real swamps. Like swamps don't have filters. He was just letting the frogs be frogs.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
after setting it up, it cleared the water super fast, and the tadpoles were all fine.
Ooh,
so I
looks
continued
good.
to feed them their tadpole pellets, but
They are
that
eating
was
that
until
up.
day 8. On this day, pretty much every tadpole looked
Oh my
super
God, they're getting
healthy,
fat.
and they were growing at a good rate. But
good.
to my surprise,
They kinda look like
across
dumplings.
the
Fat.
tank on top of a rock, I saw that one of the
No!
20 tadpoles had died.
No!
Dang, bro, I'm not even sure how this guy died.
R.I.P.
I'm really hoping
Oh my
the other
God, no.
tadpoles are gonna-
That was actually good to see, though, because that tadpole was really tiny, and the other ones, I didn't realize how big they got in the meantime.
I think what happened was like everybody ate the food and there was none left for that little tadpole. So he
is
starved.
natural
He starved to
selection.
death. Yeah, Alec, are you okay?
Alec, did that tadpole remind you of a family member or something?
Are you getting
It's
sad?
okay. You can let it out.
Alec, you can cry if you need to cry.
This is a
It's okay.
funny. No,
Funny?
it was.
Wait, Alec, it died.
It literally just died. What's funny?
It didn't tell a joke. It's dead.
What is Alec laughing about?
Just the way it cut to it. I mean, it's not funny that it died, but the way it was cut up in the video.
Wait, the tadpole was cut up? Ew.
No, the way the video transitioned to. Oh yeah, by the way, this little one died.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of funny. Kind of hilarious. Poor guy. I just feel like that's gonna happen though when you put 30 of these things in a little tiny exhibit, you know? Some of them are gonna die. There's not enough food to go around. Whatever, 20. I'm also starting to hate this air filter being in the middle of the enclosure. It's really throwing off the entire vibe.
Agreed. There should be a dedicated jacuzzi corner, not in the middle.
Mine too.
Now,
Let's
in the
petition.
wild, 4 of every 5 tadpoles actually don't live long enough to become frogs. So while it sucks that this guy died, it's kinda to be expected. Anyways, on the next day, I wanted to prevent any further tadpoles from dying, and considering some of the tadpole legs were getting pretty big now,
Hey,
they
yo!
should be ready for
Look at
a
those little
whole new type of
flip-floppers.
food to make them evolve even faster.
Hamburger.
So let's
What do you think the next food's gonna be?
Probably like mealworms or like starting to get into actual animals.
I was thinking it might be like little tiny fish, like
I
really
think-
small fish.
Maybe he'll buy like some like little dead flies and like sprinkle them on the top so that they can get more protein or something.
Could be
idea.
that. Could be that.
go cook it up
Or
for them on the
cheeseburger.
Terra Green cooking show.
Cook it up.
Today on the
Like
menu,
he's
we
gonna
got a
cook for
very
them?
Special item. We're making tadpole burgers.
The only difference is instead
Wait,
of
what?
normal ingredients, we're using some romaine.
Okay, we
lettuces
were off
to
by a
bind
little bit.
Is this a
bloodworms as
Krabby
the
Patty?
and some tadpole pellets to
This is
add,
a tatty
a little bit of
Krabby.
flavor. All right, but anyway, step 1 is we're gonna get our lettuce.
Tatty
Then I'm just
patty.
gonna put it under the sink and turn it on, and we're just gonna wash it. Hopefully, you can hear me. This is kind of loud.
Do you guys
Annoying.
wash your lettuce? Should I be doing that? Or is that only when feeding tadpoles?
Yeah, I guess you're maybe supposed to. I don't know, but wouldn't they get washed anyway once they're in the tadpole water that's filtered?
Yeah.
He's doing too much.
He's a respectable
Then we
tatty
take
daddy.
the lettuce, tear it up into tiny
Tatty
little
daddy.
pieces, and throw it in a pot of boiling water to, you know, cook.
What?
And then the final step, we just
He's
gotta
really
assemble
cooking
the
it.
burger. So I put down the bottom bun, the burger patty, tadpole pellets, and then the top
Burger.
bun, and boom, check
Little
these
bacon,
burgers
lettuce, and
out.
cheese,
After freezing
baby.
them for a few
Burger.
hours, I got them out and got ready to feed these burgers to
yeah.
the tadpoles. Oh yeah, I already know they're gonna love
Cheeseburger.
them. To start, I dropped in 2 of the burgers, and after
Those
about
things are
20
huge.
seconds, they slowly started to thaw out, and the bloodworms started to get unleashed from them.
I
Soon
see
enough, the
mealworms.
lettuce also
Yeah, Alec
separated
was
and
very
all the
close.
food
Half right.
spread all around
Come
the
on.
tank. As you can see, it didn't take long until the tadpoles started to notice. They would literally just be
Buffet.
swimming around the water while having an end of a bloodworm sticking out
Look
of
at how
their
tiny their little legs are. Look at that.
Dude, the leg to body proportion ratio is so off right now. It's so funny.
Oh my gosh.
They're like the opposite of T-Rexes. Not that funny.
I didn't think it was
that
that.
was pretty funny, Alec. That was pretty
Cracked
funny.
up, yeah.
Thanks, I guess.
That was the first joke that hit.
All right, Adam. You're all over me today.
mouth. It looks pretty tasty. I'm just kidding. It doesn't look pretty tasty. It actually looks pretty nasty. I wouldn't want to eat a bloodworm. But while they were
He's
eating, I
flipping it up.
actually noticed that one of the tadpoles has now officially entered
Whoa.
stage 2. As you can
Whoa.
see,
Look at
his
the
back
legs.
was
Thick.
starting to turn yellow and develop a little bit of a pattern. And that's not to mention that his legs
Oh.
were actually getting pretty giant by this point.
Bro, this is
Wow.
so good. Most
trains
frogs
like
are
that.
not this yellow color, so we could actually be getting a really rare species of frog. Oh, this is gonna.
Do you guys think that that frog is going to be like the alpha dad frog and then it's going to command the other frogs?
Maybe he's gonna eat all the other ones, so none of them can rise against him. He's gonna become the frog first, and then bang! Blip, 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 blip.
Wait, that brings up a good point though. They're mystery frogs. So what if some of them are poisonous?
Those are toads.
No, poison dart frogs. Adam's right.
Oh, I didn't know
That's
that was a thing.
dangerous. That's dangerous.
Yeah.
Why would you ever get a mystery frog? He's playing a dangerous game.
I'm excited to see.
Oh, this is gonna be so cool.
Anyways, a few days later on day 11, the colors of this guy became even
my
more vibrant,
gosh, he's
and there
getting
was
big.
some
That guy is
super
Yo, his
big
legs are long.
Look at how much bigger he is than
That
them.
right there. I'm
Boy,
pretty
arms,
sure that is
arms.
his
That's
hand
gotta be an
about
arm.
To poke out of his body.
Oh, that kind of looks
Arms
painful.
are about to grow in literally today.
This is like when you have new
Build a
teeth coming in.
completely new tank, because this is a fully
I don't know if I
aquatic tank,
like
and
this.
We need something with a bunch of land area and everything, so this frog will be able to go onto land and start eating bugs and stuff.
So without wasting time,
Yeah, you gotta think about that too. Like, he left the top completely open. So one of these days, they're just gonna get out and then they're just gonna jump over the side.
Well, That's a good point.
That's a later problem, Jack.
He'll have to adapt the exhibit a little bit.
Yeah, that's a later problem.
True.
Without wasting time, I got out a new 20-gallon tank and a few different types of supplies to make a new home. Obviously, with this second enclosure, we're still gonna have a water area so the tadpoles can swim around and do their thing. But along with that, we're also gonna have the land area so that when the tadpoles have their arms pop out, they can start
what's coming
hunting for
up?
insects on
Hey,
land.
whoa!
For the
Whoa!
build, I started by putting a wall of rocks along the middle and connecting it with some water-safe spray foam. On the left side of the rocks, I basically recreated the first tank with some soil, sand, and a whole bunch of decorations, and then I filled it up with water.
This is a good
And
idea.
for the
Not
right
too
side, I
bad.
put some dirt, sticks, moss, and stuff like that, and it didn't take long for the second enclosure to be finished.
How are
All
20
right,
frogs
check it
gonna
out.
fit
It
though?
looks,
Nah, he's
all
got
right.
it, bro.
I mean, it's
He'll probably
gonna
get a
serve
third
purpose.
tank where it's
I'm
all
gonna add
land.
that one frog in here once his arms pop out. So let's just wait until that happens.
Anyways, it took a few days until that frog had his arms actually pop out, and by day 15, even his
What the heck happens to their tails?
I think it just like absorbed back into their body.
Does it go back in then pop out his arms? Is that how it
I
works?
guess so, yeah. You know, evolution uses all different parts of the body for growing. So I guess that's what happens.
He's probably sad he don't have that booty anymore. He can't throw that thing around. It's so tiny now.
I know, he's so confused. He's like, I miss my tail. What do I do now? What is life? Poor guy.
At least he has opposable thumbs now.
By day 15, even his tail was starting to absorb into his body. Dang, this guy's basically a frog at this point,
Hey,
and that
yo.
means he can survive
he's
out
pooping.
of the water. So I picked him up onto my hand,
Dangerous,
and I
could be
moved
poisonous.
him into his new home. Immediately after putting him in, he
He's smaller
actually
than I
just stayed
thought.
in the water portion of it for a
Yeah.
few hours. You see-
I wonder if even though he looks like he's ready for land, like, do you think that he has lungs yet, or does he still have gills?
Probably both.
Yeah, I think
Probably both.
he probably has both.
He got a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Yeah.
He's like a
saying?
Prius.
Yes.
A hybrid.
Yeah, he's a hybrid.
You see, at this point, they have very small gills, so they could breathe underwater. But of course, they also have lungs now, so they could breathe
Alec
on
be a
land.
genius.
And a little while later, I saw him sitting on the beach portion of the
He's probably so
enclosure with
confused.
half of his body poking out of the water. He
can
was
breathe
about
water
to take
anyway.
his
My
very
gosh, he
first
got
steps
so
onto
big.
land. And once these frogs actually
That is
do
a
go on
thick
land, I'll
boy.
be able to figure out what species they are and feed them insects, which is going to be really cool to watch.
First, I want to let you guys know we've made a special limited edition merch collection just for this video. We've got a
I will be
hoodie,
copying.
Go ahead,
stickers,
Sarah
and
Green.
even a poster, and all this stuff is selling out pretty quickly. So if any of this merch stuff looks cool, make sure you buy it soon, because obviously if it's sold out, you can't buy it. We just have so much cool stuff, a bunch of different pet video. But anyway, just check out the website. There's tons more stuff there. I'll let you know more at the end of the video. But anyways, let's just go back to the frog walking on land.
The little froglet slowly peeked his head out of the water and scanned around the land portion to see if there was any predators.
It's only day
And after
15.
seeing it was safe, he took one
This is
step,
awesome.
2 steps,
Oh!
and now our first
my
frog
Get on land,
little
walked
guy.
on
Metamorphosis
land
complete.
for the first time.
Oh my
Look at the
gosh,
little
this
one.
is the tadpole. Well, I guess it's a frog now, but this is its first steps on land.
Dude, what happened to the 19 other frogs? Why is he so advanced?
We're not gonna worry about them, okay? We just got one.
This is like me in class, and that's all the other kids.
No, that's the LeBron James of frogs.
Ron James.
It's actually very cool to watch because I've been raising these guys for like more than 2 weeks, so it's a
The
nice little
king.
milestone.
But the frog didn't stop there. He walked even further onto the land
Look
and
at him
started
go.
to do something that I would have never expected.
Working?
Oh my gosh, you
Oh, he's
guys see what this
burrowing.
guy's doing right now? He's basically burying himself under the dirt. Obviously, this guy's that cool yellow and orange pattern on his back, and that made me think this is a Pac-Man frog. And now that he's doing
yeah,
this,
definitely.
I 100% know it's a Pac-Man frog.
Basically, Pac-Man frogs do this because they wait for an insect to walk above them while they're in the dirt, and when
Sneak
that
attack.
does happen, it jumps out.
Oh,
and eats it.
Adam
It's
does this
very
every
cool, and
morning.
I'm
I
about
do
to
that
show
too in the
you this
kitchen.
guy doing it. But first, on day 6.
Wait a second, guys. A Pac-Man frog. Did they invent that after Pac-Man came out? What did they call it before Pac-Man came out?
That frog didn't exist before then.
Was it just a man frog?
I think at some point they probably just called every frog a frog.
Oh.
It's kind of like how we used to just call all people people, but now we got like ginger people. Now we got people with glasses, big forehead people. We got people with beards. We got people that have broad shoulders, small legs. Like there's all types of different people.
Yeah, that's true. Big people, small people, all types of people.
Don't forget about the insanely low IQ people with huge noses and are disgustingly stinky at 24/7 and are horrible to be around.
They exist.
And wear Mickey Mouse hoodies as a 23-year-old man. Don't forget about.
What a bunch of weirdos they are.
I'm talking about you, Adam. Let's make that more abundantly clear.
Yeah, those Adams. My name's Dirt Boy.
tadpoles out the old tank and put them into the new one so that they would be able to walk once their arms popped out. I wanted to wait till there's a couple more frogs, so I came back 2 weeks later on day 28.
2 weeks?
And now
Whoa!
there was a total of 3
What if they
frogs.
drowned?
The original
What
one,
the?
another yellow one, and for some
Whoa.
reason, even an orange one.
Nice.
Aquarium frog
Whoa.
can be all sorts of colors, so maybe we'll even get some
Whoa.
other types. But anyways,
Yes.
later that day, I noticed the 2 yellow frogs were chilling in the dirt with each other.
All right, I really want to.
So, bro, so, bro.
Dude, that is my dream. All I need is one friend to just chill in the dirt with me. I could live so happily.
If you do it by yourself, it's weird, but if you have a buddy to do it with, it's no longer weird.
Do you think like they're connected underneath their tunnels? Maybe they're playing footsies the whole time?
Oh, 100%. They are connected down there, waiting for prey to come along so that they can just pounce together.
Whatever happens underneath the dirt line, stays underneath the dirt line. We don't talk about that.
They'd probably get so mad if one steals the other's food.
Yeah.
Like they both go at it, one gets it. I could see there being a whole like family divorce there.
I could see them both going for the same food, and then they both miss it, then they accidentally just start making out.
Why did I know you were going there?
Out of the dirt for some food, so that's why I've got these crickets
Finally,
right here.
live
Hey,
feeding.
Oh, those are
They're
big.
running. Help me!
Something
Help
happened.
Those are
me!
I let
big.
the
Crickets.
crickets loose, but while they constantly walked near and sometimes even on top
Those
of the
frogs are
frogs,
lurking.
the
Bro,
frogs
those
didn't
crickets
really
are so
react to them at
stupid.
all. So instead, I tried to get out some smaller
Yeah,
crickets.
get some little
and,
guys.
oh boy, this is where I got fun. Right after putting them in, this lone cricket
He's wearing a hat.
Look at him,
and
he's
the one on
staring
the
right at
right
him.
tried to eat it,
Oh!
but he missed. So the cricket
missed.
tried to run away, but then the left
His disguise isn't working. Look at
With the dirt on his head.
disguise. He's got a little wig on.
His boy put a bunch of dirt on his head. He's like, dude, this is gonna work. Just you wait.
Picasso.
Nobody knows where I am.
Let's see if he can nab this cricket.
frog tried to eat it, and he missed even more.
They are so slow.
Yeah, they're pretty bad hunters. But this cricket was just so stupid that he looped back around to the right frog, and this time he was out of luck because
They don't know
just
how to
like
use their
that,
tongue
he
yet.
was
Oh,
now
gosh.
swallowed by
Oh, wait,
the
the other guy came
He went
up.
in to make out.
Wait a second, dude. I think the other frog like went for the cricket, but it looked like he was kind of going for the other frog's booty.
Yeah.
Dude, you're
It's
so
happens all
right.
the time in the frog world.
If there's a cricket that goes in between them, they are absolutely both kissing somehow.
Told you.
It's gonna happen.
Accidentally.
frog. Now, I thought that was gonna be all that I got to see, but 2 minutes later, one of the original big crickets walked by.
Are they
them.
gonna go
There
for it?
was
Taking out that
no
big guy.
way one of them would try to eat it, but as
Look
it
at 'em
slowly
staring it
got
down.
closer and closer, and finally tripped on the dirt, the
Got
frog
him.
opened his
It
mouth
literally
and
fell
the
into
cricket
its
fell
mouth.
straight into
That's
it.
crazy.
This dude just ate a cricket the size of his own body, and it seemed like the frog.
Oh,
was
no!
pretty jealous. Yeah, he just kept like licking the frog on the right. I don't really know why. He did that. At this point, the main goal
Frogs
was to
are
get all
awesome.
the tadpoles transformed and get an army of Pac-Man frogs. So I continued to care for them and feed them and all of that stuff. But that was until day 40, when there was a huge problem. By now,
Again?
there was a total of 6 froglets roaming around the enclosure, but one of the froglets was sitting under a rock with a tail and legs sticking out of his mouth. Even though I was
What?
feeding them more than enough food, it had eaten one of the tadpoles. Pac-Man frogs will basically eat anything, including other frogs. But I figured that
called
since they
that.
were so
Did anybody think to themselves that like evolution just went wrong for a second there?
I did. I was like,
Oh,
what
you thought
happened
he
to this
mutated?
one?
Yeah, I thought that like he had a leg growing out of his face for a second there.
So did I was
he
like,
just
what
ate
the
another
heck?
frog.
I
Yeah,
did
that's-
call that. I said that earlier. I said the frog's gonna eat the other tadpoles.
Wow.
Wow. What to do it? It ate the other tadpoles.
So they'll eat anything that they come across that's like a little bit smaller than them. It's literally a Gario, but it's Frogio.
So relatable.
small, there'd be no way they'd eat each other.
Aw,
But
little
unfortunately, I was
monster.
wrong. Since I
Oh
now
my
knew there was
God.
even a chance they'd eat each other, I had to separate all the frogs into their own enclosures.
Battle
So I
Royale
went out
frog
and got
style.
a lot of individual enclosures and some
go,
supplies
Terra
to
Green.
build everything up. For each tank, it's pretty simple. You basically just fill them up with about 3 inches of coconut fiber dirt, add some water to make sure it's nice and moist, put in some moss and sticks so they could hide under, and put in a shallow water dish. I repeat.
I'm not gonna lie, this is kind of an L, dude. I can't even lie. It would be way more fun to watch a giant battle royale between the frogs.
I didn't want to say it. I agree, Alec. Also, too, that kind of makes me think earlier, do you know how we saw the 2 frogs like kissing each other? Does that mean he wasn't actually trying to kiss him, that he was trying to eat the frog?
Oh my god.
He was that
Is he trying
hungry.
to eat him?
He was mad for stealing his cricket, so he tried to eat him.
What were you saying, Adam?
Sometimes you just try and eat your friends. What's the big deal?
What is wrong with you?
Repeated that process in a few more of the enclosures, and now you can see
Terrarium's
I
kinda got a
have
booty, not gonna
lot
lie.
of them. Now the final step is that I got out some heat mats and put them
like
running
15,
along one
Adam.
side
Bro,
of the
pause,
enclosures to
stop.
create a heat gradient inside, so the frogs will be able to choose how warm they want to be.
All right, check it out. Some of the enclosures are ready for the froglets to be put inside. And I probably will have to build bigger enclosures as the frogs grow up because they get to be pretty big, but these should last for
Whoa.
No way.
months. So this is good.
So on day 41, I scooped each of the 6 froglets into their new enclosures. And as you can see, that one frog that ate the tadpole was absolutely
Oh,
massive
no.
at this point. He
Oh my
probably
God.
wouldn't be hungry for a few
Me
days.
after
Like,
Chipotle.
dang, he's pretty fat. Soon after putting them in, some of the froglets went to go chill in the little tray of water to get
Hey.
some quick moisture. You see, at this point, most of the froglets have lost their gills and can only breathe air, so it's important that
Whoa.
the water in their enclosure is very shallow like this so they don't drown. To finish off the day, all the frogs buried themselves in the dirt, and I dropped a few crickets inside so they could eat. By day 62, I had to build even more enclosures
What
because
the-
at this point, every single
Let's
one of
go!
the remaining tadpoles had transferred.
The government's gonna think this guy is running an illegal frog farm. He has so
Is
many
that
frogs
illegal?
now. I don't know. You probably need a permit or something.
You need a frog farm permit?
Yeah, probably.
into frogs, and I moved them all into their new homes. There was a total of 15 Pac-Man frogs. And
got
you're probably
15
wondering, what do I
enclosures.
do with all these frogs now? Well, I guess the only thing I can do is continue to feed them crickets and make sure they grow up, because as
Got
I
'em.
said,
You
they
just
get
scared 'em.
extremely
Gotcha.
big. Make sure to subscribe,
Whoa.
because I might make an
You guys
update
see how
video
big
on
they
them
get?
when they get that
Yeah.
huge.
But don't leave yet, guys.
Wow, that was amazing.
If you guys enjoyed and want to see us follow the frog journey, smash like and click this video if you missed it.